I don't think there's a more exciting bike out there. Yeah, welcome to the 25,000k review of my 890 Adventure Rally, and the bike's actually just clicked over 26,000k, so I thought it was a good time to come back and review the good, the bad and the ugly with the bike. It won't surprise you that there's not a lot of ugly. I mean, other than it being tall and whatnot, you know, I'm still very, very happy with the bike overall. So let's fire up the dash and have a look at the stats. Okay, so 26,126 kilometers. So let's go into the trips. Last weekend's trip, 352 kilometers, did 4.4 liters per 100 kilometers at an average speed of 66, just to give you an indication of what kind of trip it was. Longer ones, very similar, 67 kilometers an hour average speed, 46, and that's over 3,953 kilometers. So 4.6 liters per 100 k's on all of that. Well, let's just fire it up from cold while it's here. I mean, people do comment about the noise of these engines and stuff. I don't think that there's any noises or anything on that that's even vaguely weird or unexpected. So the bike also, between services, I do the oil change at 7,500 k's, and I take it back to the dealer for the every second one, the 15,000 k services. So it'll be going in for the next service in a few thousand kilometers, and it just doesn't use oil in between those services. So you know, a lot of people have changed to the Rottweiler airbox and everything. I've just gone for the power plate myself. So let's have a look at that, because everyone's always interested to have a look at that. And because there was only a few of us, I ran the thinner option. So there are 3 options with the power plate. This one is a more fine mesh than this red one, and this one actually combines the two. So you've got a finer mesh at the back and a coarser mesh at the front. That's what I run a lot of the time, and that's the result of it from the last ride that I did. And because I was riding with the same guys in basically the same area, that's why I just went for the single skin red one. And I think it does make a slight noticeable difference to the performance of the bike, maybe even to the fuel economy, why I got 4.4 on this trip, because this is a lot more free-flowing. So that's the result of that, of this weekend's ride. As you can see, pretty similar, one weekend ride. So let's pull it out, have a look. So mine is greased on this front face. So that's towards the engine, and you can see that there's nothing on there. There's no dust on the inside. Dusty on the outside because I actually didn't change that from the last ride. So that had done 2 rides, this outside dustiness. And let's get in with a light and have a look up inside. So you can see there's a bit of oil down in the bottom on the left hand side, because the breather does come in up there, and it is dusty on this side, of course, clean as a whistle on the other side. Let's get a tissue in there and give that a wipe on the inside part. So I wipe it down in the oil, wipe it all around. So it's got oil. Like I said, you get some from the breather, but there's no dust there. There's no dust or dirt. Let's jump back in where I wiped. And you can see I've smeared some oil there, but there's no dust inside. And that's what you want to see on the clean side of the engine. You want to make sure that your system is working well. So inside there, I actually put some coat hanger wire on top just so that it can't move, you know, from when you're jumping, because there were a lot of erosion mounds on this one. So these are the two skins that go in, the outer skin and the inner, more fine skin that go into this. And I've got a new set here. You can see the colours are a bit brighter, yeah, that filtration system is working exceptionally well. I wouldn't be unhappy to jump on that right now and change the filters, put in a new skin, and ride to the Simpson Desert, which we will be doing on our next major trip. So yeah, what else has changed? I've just refreshed the grips. I prefer to have a nice grippy waffle on the rear and fairly smooth on the front for comfort. Myself, I cracked the mirror on the last one, so that's $10 down the drain. I buy them for $20 a pair off eBay. I just find them the nicest solution, clean and simple. I fold them in if you're in proper bush. I'm still running the fairing extension, $24 on eBay. The Zumo mounts up there. I personally think that the Scott's damper is a must-have for these, you know, just to aid the stability. And contrary to what a lot of people think, when I did the Simpson trip, I actually turned the damping down a bit. So you've still got the high-speed damping if you start to do a tank slap, but by turning the damper down, you don't actually ride up the edges of wheel ruts. And I don't know if you've seen my Simpson Crossing one, but we did it when the weather was just after it had dried out, and so there were lots and lots of ruts. We were just riding in ruts the whole time. So yeah, turn that down a bit for the sand and the ruts, just to let the bike not climb out of the ruts as much. I am running the one finger clutch, and that's what you want to see. You want to have movement in the adjustment there. You've got to have movement in the adjustment there, and you've got to make sure that that is adjusted right, or you will end up with the dreaded and unfortunate almost burnt clutch. So you can see this one, it got super hot. It was totally my fault. I had adjusted the arm incorrectly so that the end of that arm was actually touching the tank, and I wasn't able to adjust up some slack up the top to keep some slack in the system, and burnt out my clutch plates on basically one hill. So what else have I got going on? I've got the alloy power plate. for the bike. I've updated those with a very keen eye will have seen these bars that I made for the 790 just for putting on my Nelson rig gear. So I bought and trialled out a pipe inlet. So I went up from 1/2 inch pipe to 5/8 inch pipe and bent this one up, which is a little more sturdy. And I'll just show you where that goes on. It mounts down to where I have my boot supports, where your passenger pegs are, and mounts back here. And all it is a support to stop left and right movement of my bags, which are supported by the straps over the seat. So it's really just to locate them. It doesn't carry a lot of weight or anything, and that's what I used, have my gear on for the ride report that's currently on YouTube, the Sundown National Park ride. So that was full bags, top bag, tank bag, and the bags had all our gear in except for maybe a couple of extra litres of water and a little bit more food if we were going for a longer trip. And it just stops the bags from moving. What else? This is the filter oil that I use, which is the Maxim FFT. And the reason you want to use a liquid for this kind of system and not an aerosol is when you spray the aerosols on something like your pre-filters and your foam filters, it can dry out too quickly. So, you know, these filters are still wet, you know, from the oil. Yeah, you know, you've still got, in there you can see the blue, that's oil, and that's still tacky. So you need to have that. You don't want to go with something that's going to dry out and compromise your filtration, so I'll give that a service now while I've got it off. Other than that, I've got an SSB lithium battery in this one, and a fused 12 volt plug for my motor pressor compressor. Before the last ride, I also noticed that when I was wheeling the bike backwards, it was starting to tick on the chains and sprockets. So not bad, but the front sprocket, which obviously is you know, going around a lot more times, just starting to hook a little bit, which is the noise, and you can just see the unevenness there with the sprocket. So, you know, I replaced it the same. I went to also a 15 tooth front sprocket and a 46 tooth rear. On the back I put the Ballard's one on the rear and the original KTM one on the front. This is the chain, which doesn't have much side flex, so it's not crazily worn out, but it does have a couple of places where you can see a little kink, but it's not just straightening up perfectly. That's your link that I pushed out with the changer, and there's still a tiny bit of lubrication in there, but not much. Alright, what else? So just covering a few of the other basics. I've got the SSB lithium battery in there, which a couple of times when it's been cold, I have had to turn on and just hit the switch once for a second and then let it have a little bit of a warm up, but that's worked well. I've got the tyre pressure monitoring system up there, which I like being able to just look back at any stage and see what my tyre pressures are. Other than that, with the suspension's been amazing. I'm going to get it serviced when I take it in for the next service at 31-ish thousand kilometres. For the last trip where we were fully loaded, like I said, all I did was go up 1.5 turns on the preload on the front, 8 turns on the preload on the rear, just to get the bike balanced with that load on. I stayed where I am in my in-between comfort and standard settings. I let the air out of the forks, just out of the bleeder valve in the top here afterwards, and it hadn't built up a lot of pressure, and you saw how many erosion mounds we jumped over there. It gets good economy, I think, is because I go 1546, which is down 1 tooth on the front and up 1 tooth on the rear. Yeah, I'm doing a little bit more revs, but I'm just not doing as much work, and it's better for the off-road stuff, so that's why I've gone that way. The bike's taken a few hits here and there. You've probably seen some of my videos where it's you know, fallen over, but you know, carbon fibre protectors and the guard zip tied together and everything, all good. My rear tyre flap is just about on its last legs, so that one just stops stuff flicking up, and there's a chunk broken out of that on both sides now, so I've just ordered a new one of those. Still running the Pirellis, just the Scorpion Rally 54 MST front, and the go-to tyre is the Rail Z when you can get them, when they are in stock, on the Hahn wheels with the having the rim locks, and you know, other than that, the bike has been flawless. I may have mentioned once or twice just how much I like this bike. It really does everything so easily and so well and so composed. You know, I try to conserve my tyres and not go crazy, but this thing, you know, a lot of the time it's just encouraging you and making you want to lift the front wheel and you know, have fun and rip around out there. So no, you know, I can't say enough good things about it, about the package, about the way the engine on the 890 in particular has just that extra torque. You know, you can just pull it up the front wheel in second, power shift it through to third, and you know, it's just a nice way to get from one place to another with a smile on your face. And you know, that's what adventure riding is all about to me. You know, that ability to go places you wouldn't go otherwise, have fun with friends, and you know, the other day I ripped back and I was coming back through Kilcoy, and I thought, oh, I may as well come back through Mount Mee and, you know, go through the forestry past the gantry and go the long way and see if I can go up A-break, which of course was locked, and you know, come back that way. And I just ripped through there and just had such a good time. You know, it just eats everything like that up in its sleep. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the 890 Rally, and you know, looking forward to some good trips coming up. We've got a 2-week-long one in May in the Flinders, and we'll get down there this time a little bit before it's freezing cold rather than after it's freezing cold. Like usually we go just after winter. So, but we didn't go last year, so we'll get this trip in and go from there. Thanks for watching. Cheers.